oh, he fell and he busted his eye open. Like she just said, he had an accident and let it linger there. So anyway. So I run there, take him to the ER. The physician's assistant is about 75 years old.
What is a physician's assistant?
It's someone that I'm taking.
It's somebody that's not a nurse and also not a doctor?
Yeah, my friend's a PA. So it's like 2 steps above a nurse and 1 step below a doctor. There a lot of, if you go to like a rapid care, a lot of the people that work there are physician's assistants. It's just one like scotch down from an actual doctor.
Okay.
PAs.
I like the idea that you're also backing me up that it's a scotch down from an actual
just a scotch. Shout out to our friend Ricky in Seattle, who is a PA.
But
Jenny, you know him.
Yes, and I love him. He's also not 75. And
he's also gay, which is great.
Okay, so this guy cleans my son's wound. He's going to go ahead and fix him. And he says, hey, young man, are you the smartest kid in your class? And he goes, no, the second. And we all kind of get a laugh. And he continues to say, I see. So you get your good looks from your mom and your smarts from your dad.
Charming.
Cute.
And my son gives me a look and does and I was so proud that he did that. He just didn't say anything.
Let it ride.
Let it ride. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, okay, physician's assistant, 75 years old, white, overweight man. Thank you for the compliment, but fuck you.
Well, yeah, but okay, but a 75-year-old man, regardless whether he's a physician assistant anymore, still comes from that world where telling a woman that she's pretty is literally the highest compliment they can receive, or they think that.
Sure, that's fair.
Yeah.
I was just pissed.
I know.
It's not what you want to hear at that point in time, but
the really
I see what you
important
mean.
question is this, Jenny. Is he going to have a really cool scar? Because that's like that scar through the eyebrow thing, that's totally in right now.
That's money.
He doesn't need any help. And but by the way, this was 3 weeks ago. It was supposed to dissolve 5 days later. It got infected, we think.
No.
Yeah, he has to go to the doctor. Anyway.
Oh, poor honey.
So he is going to have a cool scar.
Right.
That's really what you're saying.
He's going to have
That's
a cool
awesome.
scar.
Good for him. Chicks dig scars.
And his friend, I told him that, and then he's like, he didn't believe me. So I showed him Cassie's post. I was like, oh my gosh, and an eyebrow scar. And he goes, oh my gosh, you're like serious, Mom. I said, yes. And the next day, this boy whenever he went back to school, this boy grabbed him and he's like, hey dude, like girls really like tough guys. Can I come introduce you? And he's like, all right, fine. And he like runs over to this little girl. He's like, see, this my friend. He's the toughest kid I know. And the little girl giggled and he came home and he was like, you were right. I'm like, let's try not to mess up your face though.
Jason Momoa, it's done really well for him.
He also has these lightning fierce eyes that are right below those eyebrows. So that helps a lot.
Oh, and also the giant pectoral muscles. And
my son doesn't have those yet.
Well, he will someday.
With time.
He's got the scar. He just started with the scar first.
The scar in the eyes. Yeah. So that was the doctor. And I'm going to probably save I'm going to save 2 of these for another recording. But the one thing I did want to mention is we go to Kansas City and we go to check into the hotel, which I have been to probably about 5 times. And we get off the elevator and I did take pictures and it says in Spanish, no more than 12 people on an elevator at a time. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty racist. It's only in Spanish. And you look around and there are quite a lot of Hispanic people You're looking at it, you're like, okay, but I'm like, this is racist. So we get to our room, the night goes on, they drop the amount of people that should be on an elevator from 12 to 10 at night. And there's paper notes all over the hotel elevators that say no more than 10 people per elevator. And I'm like, what is going on? In Spanish. And so the night goes on. Amber's husband comes in and he goes, holy cow, there are like 60 people in the stairwell. I'm like, why were you taking the stairs? And he's a fireman. And so easily, he's like, I can run upstairs really fast. So he's like, I don't know. I guess they don't think that they can use the elevators at all. And by the next morning, now the sign says no more than 8 people on the elevator. So
they changed the sign?
They kept changing the signs. And we were on floor 14. We got down to the 10th floor, which I think they put everyone on because it smelled so good. Like someone was cooking like some amazing like food. And
in the hotel?
Yeah. Huh. It smelled amazing. We're like, can we get on that floor? And so
we'd like to be a part of the cooking floor, please.
Yeah. So Amber's husband was a little drunk on Friday night and saw like everybody in the hallway. He's like, hey, what are y'all doing? Like, what's going on in town? Like, what are y'all doing here? I was like, you said, what are you all? And he goes, what else? I mean, and they said that one person said there was a convention. And so he's like, what kind of convention could it have been? I'm like, I don't know. Let's just leave the nice people alone. But I just thought it was a reach that it was so awkward that they had this paper sign up and then they kept changing the amount.
And then they kept modifying it.
Yeah.
Just modifying how many people can get on the elevator.
Like cross out the 10, the 12.
There was like 5 stories in that. And I just don't even know where to go. Like, it was just awkward that they were modifying the amount of people that could get on the elevator.
Well, and I'm like,
Otis is only accepting 8 people tonight.
But I'm like, you're not even going to try and put it in English as well, like warning people,
no,
like
just
the maximum capacity.
So really, technically, it's only 8 Spanish-speaking people can get on the elevator right now.
I guess usually when you look at them, most of them are like 20-person maximum is what I think Otis says on the freaking inside of the elevator.
Oh my God. I can't imagine 20 people on an elevator.
Maybe it's code for like a Spanish sex party.
No, I'm gonna show you the signs. I would have been offended if I was Hispanic. I'd be like,
okay, I feel that someone really stupid was working at the hotel that night and the elevator was just having technical problems and people were complaining about it. And they were just like observing how the elevator was operating. And they're like, okay, 12 Hispanic people just got on the elevator. You know what we're going to do? We're
the average weight 10. Of an Hispanic person is ...
Some extremely stupid person's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. Put this sign up in Spanish. You know what? Because that's what I see right now. Spanish people going, they're going to go on the elevator. We're going to mark it down to 10. George, get the sign, the markers, quick, the markers. Mark it down to 8. We're still having problems. Like they just keep they're just observing like this one cadence of people going on the elevator and they're assuming they speak Spanish. And just like go for it. And really, it was probably like someone jammed the button and no one's.
Or maybe it was a reality show and they were just doing screenshots of white people going. First of all, can they read Spanish? Second of all, how squished up is their face going to get when they're thinking about this?
It was. I don't think so. I think
it's Kansas City. I don't know how many reality shows are filmed there, but I'm willing to bet not many.
I don't know.
Girls Gone Wild.
I've never been.
That's a reality show, right?
Oh God. Okay, moving on. I'm gonna skip the other 2.
God.
I know, right?
We'll save them for next time.
Yeah, we'll save them for next time. We won't wait a month before the next recording.
Mm-mm.
I don't think.
Unless there's a time change.
There will be on your end on Sunday.
We'll be back.
We know what time it is here, Cassie.
And I know what time it is here. To be fair.
Oh, what semi-weird thing do you have?
This just happened 2 nights ago. So it actually happened to Carson and not myself. But I go to bed between 9 and 10:30 recently because I've been waking up pretty early. And Carson will go to hockey once or twice a week in the evenings. And sometimes it's pretty late practice. So he'll come home like at midnight. Where I'm clearly asleep. So he comes upstairs and he flicks open the door. And usually I'm dead asleep, but I couldn't sleep this night. And he goes, "Hey, you awake?" And I was. He's like, "I just saw the weirdest thing or the craziest thing." And I'm like, okay. So I'm expecting to hear some bizarre story about like, ducks walking through the street and they're wearing hats or something. Like he had seen something really ridiculous in a Dutch way. He proceeds to tell me a story about how he was driving home from hockey and this guy got attacked on our car.
What?
Yeah. So we live in Utrecht is a very benign town. Like, remember you telling about the shooting that never happens and the whole city shut down because one gunman was loose?
Yeah.
Like, this town is super, super safe. Nothing ever happens here, especially in our neighborhood. We have a lot of cops. Like, it's just extremely safe and you don't hear about bizarre things happening. So he was coming through an intersection, stopped at a stoplight, and some guy comes flying out of nowhere and starts banging on the hood of our car and like scratching at it, clawing at it. And what Carson assumes was help me, or I need help, something
you
in that fashion.
That Gabe guy a long time ago. What the hell's going on here, Cassie?
I don't want to talk about it.
It's still
but
tender.
He's like still sunk in there. But he's like, apparently I wasn't there, but was like scratching at the car, and 3 guys in a white van jump out in ski masks. One of them had a sledgehammer and attack this guy right in front of our vehicle.
Is this like a Vin Diesel movie or something? What?
I don't know, man. I wasn't there, but he proceeds to tell me this story. And they like ran around a car and they were trying to get into Carson, our car. Like they were like pounding on the sides. And these 3 guys were attacking this dude around the car because Carson was like laying on the horn and flashing the lights trying to get them so he could like clear out. He just wanted to go forward and get away from what was happening. It's super bizarre.
He's like, screw you, dude. Whatever, like weird, crazy European like mafia crap you got into, I don't want to be part of it.
Carson's like, I don't exactly. He's like, I don't want to. He lived in Spain and some weird shit went down there too. And he's like, I just want to get out of here. So he went kind of not around the block, but in a similar fashion, what a block would be kind of in Holland. And he came back and the guy that was attacked was on the corner and a lot of people, it was a pretty populated area. So a lot of people were helping him. Thank God. So he drove home. And he comes in the bedroom. He's like, how do I call the cops? Because he didn't even know how to call emergency services here. So I told him the number. They proceeded to talk. We got the detective's information. And the next morning when I went to my car to drive to work, you can see on the hood of my car, like scratch marks. Like this guy, his nails went like into my paint and scratched the roof of my car, the sides of my car. Like they're talking about doing prints. So the police here have a Instagram and they have a web page and like they have a posting. If you've seen this, please contact us, which Carson did. And they like they requested pictures of the car so they can pay for the paint job. But like it was this bizarre act and stuff like that does not happen here, like at all, especially in our area. Like we're not on the stretch. Shut up. We're not on the stretch of like the weird part of town or anything. Like we're in a really good part of town. And
it's like, this sounds like The Purge or something. I mean, it's like,
well, and Carson's like, they all had the same matching ski masks and gloves. And they're in like a white BMW van. Like, so I told my friends this at work and I work with a Brazilian girl and immediately she goes, oh, it was drugs. She's like, he owed him money for drugs. Like we've seen this all the time. Like her dad watched someone get murdered.
But the guy got out of the same van, right?
No. The guy was just a guy running through the street like he was about to be attacked. And then these 3 guys jumped out of the van and attacked him.
That's the part that's really cool. That's like movie worthy. Like if you get out of the van to go kick somebody's ass, then like you're definitely on a movie set.
But now my mirror, like one of my mirrors on my car is all jacked up and I have scratches now. And I'm not supposed to wash my car because the cops might want to look at it. And there's like prints. It's a mess, but
so still, I mean, like this dude, like this guy is getting his butt handed to him. Granted, he did mess up your car, and I'm sorry about your car, but I mean, that's some cool shit.
Well, and I maybe I don't. If he did something wrong, I guess the cops assume he did this group wrong kind of thing. It was either drugs or money.
He did this group wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
So not